You're listening to Italian American Radio. Talk radio focused on Italian Americans and all things Italian.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time once again for the Johnny Mandolin Show, broadcasting live on Italian American Radio. Today we have a great show for you. We have a wonderful guest. Annalaura di Luggo is here, producer, writer, director of the film We Are Art Through the Eyes of Annalaura. Stand by for a wonderful show and a great interview on Italian American Radio here on the Johnny Mandolin Show. Welcome to the Johnny Mandolin Show. We're broadcasting again on Italian American Radio. I have a great, wonderful guest here, a very talented woman who is a producer, a creative writer, and has done a wonderful film. So to the mic, I want to bring Annalaura di Luggo. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning. It's so nice to have you here on the air.
My pleasure. My super pleasure.
Oh, thank you, Annalaura. And your film, We Are Art Through the Eyes of Annalaura, just opened in L.A., and it's going to open in New York, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So we opened on September 16, and it's playing now until September 22 in LA, and from September 23 is playing in New York for 1 week at the East Village by Angelica Theater, and in LA it's at the Lamley Monica Film Center.
Wonderful. I know the theater well. So basically tell our audience about who you are and tell us about your project, what you've worked on.
So I think that, it's like this project came out in a very deep and slow way. I mean, my artistic career has always been led to the desire of social inclusion. So all my artistic and human experience revolve around an interest in the person, on the affirmation of the value of human being and life. So from this belief, I developed a documentary which is a combination of a reportage style by interviewing dozens of young adults who overcame adversities, and a new style video art that it's experimenting it's an experimentation of my multimedia installation colloquially that is like a very advanced real-time interactive technology based. So the reason why it's like this is this documentary is like a journey that uses the languages of visual art and sound design, and it offers a portrait of 4 young adults who have faced different challenges that they overcame with strength and dignity. So I wanted, I interviewed a lot of young adults, coming from very challenging life. So from drugs, from alcohol addiction, from criminal records, from social discrimination due to blindness or racial discrimination, or there is a Down syndrome lady in autism, with a guy with autism. So it's like I wanted really to go deep in all these stories, and then my journey was to visually get them strip themselves of preconception and suffering, and become creatures of sublime beauty like their eyes. So all these journeys was really created to do this kind of work. So mainly I use for my work recycled aluminum, and the recycled aluminum it's it's a very important symbol of environmental safeguard, because aluminum is the only material that you can recycle forever, and comes from the word from Latin ad lumen, a journey towards the life. But the real reason also I use aluminum is to recycle people's life. So, like, to give a second chance. This is why we say that it's a documentary about second chances. So giving a new light and lighten these lives that have been, in the darkness, and so this is a real goal, because from my deep belief, we are all amazing God creators, and so everyone should have a chance. Everyone should really and be full of light. And so I wanted really to stimulate self-esteem of these kids, and leading them to a strong awareness of the beauty of the gift of life.
Well, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful work, and very visual. And did you have any big influences in film or art? Who influenced you majorly?
Do you mean what kind of influence? I mean, in my thoughts, if there was yes, for sure. I was influenced by a painting that is a Bruegel painting that stands in the Museum of Capo di Monte in Naples. So this painting, it's like the blind leading the blind. Can you hear me?
Oh, absolutely. You're on the air.
Okay. The blind leading the blind. So it's a painting that, you can see one blind pulling other four blinds. And I think this led all my artistic research, because I feel, by the way, a blind, because I think that no one can have like the presumption of being better than the other ones and lead the others. But I think that all our world, we interconnect. So I think that everyone should make an effort to try to help others. So I was trying to do my best to show these four young adults their way. So by the way, I felt blind too, because, no one has the keys of what should be done. And the rope became a very strong symbol for me. So I used this rope because, as you know, in the museum, there is always a red rope that it divides the audience from the pieces of art. So they were behind the rope, and they were expressing we are art. So this kind of distance that I want to create with the audience, because they were the ones who became an example. So they made the transformation. So it's like also to stimulate everyone of doing the same thing. Everyone should trust himself or herself, and getting more and more self-esteem, and thinking that we're really amazing God creators, and so everyone should shine to in this world, and be happy and joyful of our great gift of God, that it's life.
Very creative and really nice. Now, you filmed this on location in Naples, yes?
Yes, I did. So it's filmed in Naples, and I had a very, very amazing chance to have my brother, that is Stanley Isaacs, who came over. And so he's like, we made this work really together from the first moment. And he was my creative consultant and production supervisor. And I think, it's like he's adorable. He's a great talent. And what I can tell you, because since I'm a creative person, so obviously I explode of ideas, and he was the one who tried to manage my ideas and to put them together, and to have also a documentary that had a universal and style, not only like an Italian style. So he really helped me so much. Day by day we were together on the set, and every moment to bring up this documentary and build it like a film that could go worldwide, and especially for an American audience. So I think that there are contents that match Italian style and American style. And also, like, during the years, Stanley introduced me Greg Ferris, who is the marketing consultant of this film, and he's also making a great job, because together, he made an amazing team. He built up a marketing team. So now we have 15, 20 people working on this documentary, super talented, and we have 3 publicists and the screening coordinator. So it's amazing how this tiny idea that was in my mind became a huge idea, and you see like also people that recognize that it's something very unique. So I don't say that it's better or worse than the other, but for sure it's something that it's difficult to see, like a work of art that, people can interact, so people can get into the work of art as a symbol of, getting compassion with the stories that you are watching. And so this is the reason why when you see this story, you cannot ignore what's going on. You are part of the scene, you are part of this unique world. So it's also to stimulate a strong brotherhood among human beings.
I think that's great. What challenges did you have in filming in Naples? It's a very crowded city. What did you have to do to film?
I think this is my city, so I don't believe that Naples is a challenging city because I live there, so I'm used to the mentality that is in Naples.
Uh-huh.
And by the way, the big challenge for me was to really get everything. I mean, these people have real life, so they have their adversity are real. They are there. They didn't change. So, what was my real goal? To pull out everything, all their feelings, to get the audience in contact with their souls. So, but the thing is that we speak daily, so I'm still in contact with them, and I always repeat the same things to them, so to let their inner light shine. And I always think that sometimes when you have some stronger adversities, this suffering can really strengthen the personality of everyone. And so sometimes it can become a springboard for a redemption. So I think that the better person are the one who really had some issues and they overcame them. So I always told them that they were lucky because this kind of thing that happened to them were able to get them better persons, And what was the nice thing was that for me, and I think that was the opportunity to compare. These kids had the opportunity to compare their suffer with other various type of challenges. So every one of them felt that their own ones became lighter by working together. So first of all, the person who was enlightening everybody was the blind lady, so it was Noemi. So everybody was looking at her like, wow, she's incredible. She's skiing, she's dancing, she's scuba diving, she's horse riding, and she never complains. She's super happy. So I think that this was a very, very important thing, that they reached the point to understand, in a way, all of them, they were, in any case, they were lucky what they had.
I think that's great. That's really wonderful. Now, have you been? I know the show's going to appear. The film's going to screen in Los Angeles and New York, 2 big markets. Have you been to New York and to Los Angeles before?
Sure. I always come in US, and I also, with Stanley, we came in LA some months ago because we did the editing here in LA in Burbank with the film Look and Christopher Roth. So we spend a lot of time here, but I do come a lot to US. And let me tell you something, since I'm an Italian, so obviously my heart is Italian, but I really feel truly connected with the US because I think that there isn't in the world another place like US that open chances to everybody. I mean, I feel that US is like, it's very open-minded, and when you do something new, you are so welcome to display what you're doing. And instead, I think that in Italy there is much more a preconception. They are most used to display all like similar thing. Instead in US, I felt such a big welcome by everybody, and to see something new. So I think this is great. I love American people, and I feel so comfortable to be here.
Well, I think that's wonderful, and let me tell you, America loves Italy too, because I am Italian American, born in Qui in New York, here in New York, and I have to say that when the relationship between the Italians and the Americans is wonderful, and in particular, look at art, look at music. I mean, you had Fellini, you had all these great filmmakers bringing films from Italy to America, and to be able to come and have an American audience, I think is great. I'm so glad that you're here to show your film in America.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I really feel half and half because, my brother Stanley comes from here. So, we speak daily. So I have also the information daily of what's happening and the feelings of U.S. people. So and he's part of Italian. He's coming now because we will have a great super opening of my piece of art inside the National Archaeological Museum of Naples, that I think is one of the 2 or 3 best museums in Italy. So we have this huge opening where, he will come, Greg Ferris will come with his 4 daughters. And so the piece of art will be there in display with all the paintings from Pompeii, and will be staying there for 3.5 months in the museum, in the biggest hall of the museum. So it's super welcomed by the museum. I felt, that also the Italian museum are really leading to this social inclusion. And it speaks so much. In 3 minutes, it speaks so much without sound. It's only without voices, but it's only sound design and visuals that get you deep into the work, and you really understand the suffer of these kids and how they overcame their adversity.
That's wonderful. That's a good message. Now you're screening on September 23rd at the Village East in New York, and tell me about your New York plans.
My New York plans is preparing the show because there will be also we are setting the theater. We are going to display a reproduction of my piece of art colloquially. As I said before, it's since I couldn't bring overseas the technological and the huge 4 meters artwork, but I brought a small one with a mirror inside. So everybody can, become part of the piece of art because they can see themselves inside the mirror and become part of this vision of this eye. And I think this is a very important. So we are looking how to display the piece of art and to make the also the audience much comfortable as possible. We have a great team working on this premiere. We are inviting a lot of people and Academy members and friends, and so I really hope that this can go through. And it's a very nice challenge because, as you know, we are trying now to start our race. We are going for best documentary, but also for best song. I don't know if you know about it. I wrote this song while we were shooting because I felt that also should come out a song that was displaying the joy of life. And so the We Are Art song, it's a song that it really tells the meaning of life and how everybody should feel a piece of art and be joyful, and we are all different and we are unique. And so this is the goal that I wanted to give with this song and with these lyrics.
That's great. Well, New York audiences love that, and you're here at a good week too, because in Little Italy here in New York, it's La Festa di San Gennaro, the San Gennaro Feast. It's the biggest Italian feast in the United States in Little Italy. So there's lots of Italians in town. Of course, a lot live here. They're all going to be here. So it's a good time to have your screening right there on the 23rd.
That's great, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's very fun.
Yes, the most important for me is I would like that it's a sort of message. This is not like a film and not a documentary, but it's more like a message. So the more I can spread the world around and get this message around, it would be very fulfilling, because I really would like that this life, these people, how they overcame, should really become an example for others. So, it's also with Stanley, we are also exploring the world of TV and of TV series to do reach a huge audience and tell stories about uplifting human spirit. So I would really like that this project doesn't stay like a unique project, but really goes and goes and goes and get it greater and bigger as my social inclusion desire.
That's wonderful. What are some plans you have for the future? What are you looking at down the road?
looking down the road, like to increase, like to get this group bigger and bigger. So I feel that now you're also part of the team, and I think like the more you go ahead, a lot of people come in the team and bring this message. What I always felt in my life, because as I said before, I always been doing works that lead to social inclusion. I work with the blind, with the prisoners, for human rights, for Kennedy Foundation, for the environmental safeguard. So it's like leading a message that I always in my life found doors open, because my message comes from the bottom of my heart. So I don't think about nothing else, but I only think to lead this message to the heart of people, and trying, to really to pull out a connection among people, especially after the COVID and the social distance. So to reconnect people and have a stronger awareness of, being together, being like a family, and feeling unique and feeling everybody a work of art.
That's
so
great.
To put goodness, joyful, and this kind of thing in a moment where everybody is living by themselves, because we learn to live by our own with COVID. So reconnect, feel part of the big family, smile, be happy. This is the real thing that I wanted to do.
I see. Well, you hit a good point, because COVID did close everything down, and obviously movie theaters and art exhibits and museums, and now it's starting to blossom and come out again. So this is going to be a great message to share. I know Italy had a similar issue, with COVID lockdowns, and now things are opening, and so it's a great time to come out, go see this, folks. Get out there and see these kind of things. It's really important.
Yeah, it is. And one important thing for me is also that was in this work, the great challenge, as I said before, is to include all these people with strong challenges. But they were included not only on the crew, as you said, but not only on the cast, but also on the crew. So, for example, we had a blind person that was a translator, and so she was translating for Stanley the log of the day. And also, although it was not mandatory, but with Stanley, we decided to care about safety of all the people. So every day on the set, there was a psychologist, a nurse, and a cardiologist. So
wow.
We wanted really people to be safe of what they were doing. So since we were also facing difficult lives, so I thought that the psychologist could be and you see it also in the film, because he was a great support, because the last thing that I wanted to do was to hurt these kids. They were already hurt by themselves. So there are also a lot of scenes that we didn't display, because to respect their privacy, they said something that was very meaningful, but I think that was invading too much their personality. So they were crying much more that you could see in the film, but we really wanted to care much more about their feelings. And so during the Q&A, there was a person that said, how did you come up to have such, all the things that they said, they were great. How did you get so much great quotes from people that are not actors? The reason was because we shot for 6-7 hours for each young adult, in order for them to get them very relaxed, to get their feelings out. And so this was a great thing to do. So they really felt that there was not somebody who was stealing from them something, but somebody who was welcoming their life and getting a meaning of their suffer.
That's great. What a great project. Do you think in the future you might produce in New York or Los Angeles?
Yeah, why not? Absolutely. As I said before, it would be great if we could really start something that comes from the TV. So with Stanley, we could come out for sure with something that also starts from US, because I think that stories come up worldwide. So there are amazing stories that are worth to be seen, worth to be displayed. And maybe sometimes I think that in Italy we are much more open, because we live in a community, we share, we go in the middle of the street, there are a lot of people. Sometimes I feel that in US there is a bigger loneliness. So I feel that maybe stories would be also very, very strong. There are people who keep their stories. You live a lot of times, there's a big distance from a place to another. So a lot of people live in their homes, very private. So it would be a very, an amazing goal to get them, a lot of new people to tell their stories.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm sure your film, your project's going to be very well received in LA and New York. I know you just showed in LA. How was your LA experience?
I was very, very happy. We had a lot of Academy members from the commentary branch, from from music branch, and we saw them again. So it's like they were very, very interested in how the project came up. So it was not only it was not only the nice event, but we follow up with all of them. So that was great, because we felt that this family is growing. And then we will come back. I mean, we are preparing ourselves to this big screen that will take place like with reception on November 8th in LA. We have a very big streaming at the MCR Theater. And then we have another screening in New York at the Italian Consulate on November 10th. And then we have another screening in Miami at the Italian Consulate on November 12th. So also the Italians are supporting the movie and the film. And as I don't know if I mentioned, but also this film won the support of the Italian minister. And so as one of the first results, so they really appreciated this very strong social inclusion topics, and also won the support of the Napolitan Film Commission from Campania region, and of Banco di Napoli Foundation, and Luca De Magistris Fideram Bank, private bank Fideram. So they all supported this project because they felt that was worth, supporting stories and social inclusion and environmental safeguards. So these topics were for them very important to display.
Wow, and you're even going to go to Miami now too, huh? That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really great. Good coverage, and glad that it will be seen. Now, when you show this in Italy, what is the response of the Italians that you've shown it to?
I didn't show it because because I only showed it to my publicist, my couple of publicists in Italy. They loved it, but I'm waiting. I would like much more to keep Italy on hold after the US screening. So I think that I would like to display it in Italy after that the Oscar campaign is it's over. So I'm waiting. Everybody is asking, obviously, to see it, but maybe we're in a festival in October, still waiting. I know they were very interested, but a Rome Film Festival, but we're still waiting for an answer. But by the way, I would love to display the film in January or February 2023.
Wonderful. Well, Annalaura, do you have a website you want to give, or a way for our audience to look up you or find more about you?
Oh, great! Yes, it's weareart.info is the website for the film, for the documentary. My website is my name, annalauradiLuggo.com. And then there is a website for the piece of art. There is this nice thing that I will be doing when I will open at the museum. I'm now working on a special technology that will allow people from their phones to get a picture of themselves inside the piece of art. So from the website of Colloquy, you can go there and you can enter like a special app where you can take the picture of yourself inside the piece of art. And if the people who want can become a piece of art through the NTF technology. So they will be able to get on the market. So their image is like always connected to the thought that everybody can become a piece of art. So becoming an artwork through the NTF world. So it's like there's something new that is coming up. And so I wanted also to match new technology to always to bring the same concept. It's like turning always around the same thing.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. And once again, your website for the film is?
My website for the film is weareart.info.
Great. I want our audience to remember that.
My personal is annalaura.com, and the one as when you will interact, as you said, it's the one that is displaying on the museum is colloquially.com. And colloquially, the words come from Latin. It matches two Latin words, colloquium and oculi. So it's a dialogue through eyes. It's interconnecting through the interest towards the person, because as you say, the eyes are the mirror of the soul. So getting souls in contact.
That's wonderful.
Through the sight, through a gaze.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank you for being on the air with Italian American Radio. Annalaura di Luggo. Check her out. Check her project. Check her film. New York on the 23rd, Village East, and be there. And Annalaura, will you come back on the air sometime?
Yeah, sure. It has been a great pleasure, and I thank you so much for your kindness.
My pleasure.
Yes.
My pleasure.
And thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
I would like after to know where I can check about this amazing interview. I hope you can get us.
Yeah, I'll get you a copy. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Annalaura, thank you for being on the Johnny Mandolin Show on Italian American Radio. Stay tuned. We got lots more coming up. Don't go away.
You're listening to Italian American Radio. Talk radio focused on Italian Americans and all things Italian.